Kail and I am going to talk to you today about my brand new Pepe Rolling Mill. And this is the Pepe Tools 189.00A. It is 130 millimeter mill, meaning that these beautiful mirror finished steel rollers are 130 millimeters wide. I think it's the biggest one they make. So as far as flat rollers. I really like it. It's incredibly well made. It's made in the USA, and that's always good for us USA, America girls or guys. It's really nice. It's a nice mill. The quality of the rollers is just beautiful. And I used to have an old Kail, and I sold it, and now I have this one, and I really do like it. It's big enough for fits all my needs. And today I'm going to show you how to use texture plates in this mill. I really love the ones by Bonnie Doon. But I'm also going to show you sometimes you need to do a custom design or a custom pattern, and you need to make your own plates. Or a lot of my students who are taking my classes cannot get silver etching mordant delivered to some countries. And so I thought, well, gosh, if I could teach you how to etch with the brass and use those plates in the mill for the textures for my classes, that would actually help you guys a lot too. So I'm going to show you how to do that with the Pepe Tools mill, and we're going to do some very simple etching today with muriatic acid and hydrogen peroxide. These are very easily attainable chemicals. Muriatic acid is a pool acid that you use to keep your pool clean and sanitary, and you can get it at the Home Depot. You get 2 gallons for about $8. It couldn't be any less expensive way to etch. And we're going to use 3% hydrogen peroxide that you can get from any pharmacy. Very simple. Okay, so the first thing I need to talk to you about is I would recommend you start with 16 gauge brass, because the thicker the brass, the more it's going to hold up in your mill. And that would be a good metal to etch on. With this method I'm showing you, though, you can also etch on copper or nickel. Okay, nickel silver, not regular silver. That's a completely different chemical. I'm going to show you how to today, just because we want to make this fast fast and fun for you. I'm going to show you how to do really easy methods with transfers too. So I am going to use stickers. Stickers you can get from, let's see, do I have any stickers here? You can get them anywhere. You can make your own stickers by using certain types of tape, like brown packing tape. And you can use things like this. This is a little crown cutter, and you can put it in your little, on your tape, and you would just punch out a design. And then that little crown you would stick on your metal, and that would be your resist. Okay, so there's the little crown. You can do that with tape, okay, and that works great too. If you don't have, a lot of these little designs or little punches, you can buy stickers. These are star form stickers. I'm going to demonstrate and show you how to use these for resist today. There's a little picture here where you just peel off the sticker and you stick it on clean metal. And when I say clean metal, I mean that I like to actually just take like a 1000 grit and just sandpaper and just rub it over a sanding sponge and rub it over and take all the surface off and make sure there's no grease on my metal. So I get a little tooth on the bronze or the brass or whatever you're etching on, copper. Today we're using brass. And you can just peel these little stickers off. These come from Amazon. I think Hobby Lobby also carries them. They're actually made for glass etching, but you can use any kind of stickers you want as long as they hold up in the resist. And I'm also going to show you a very easy method where you take a store-bought stamp and you rub it on a stamp pad that has permanent ink. Stays On is the only brand that I like. Stays On ink. So you rub it on and then you transfer it on your metal like this. Okay, and then that gives you a resist. Now, this resist is not as toothy as the stickers. So you probably won't get a lot of roller texture plate rolls out of it. You might get a couple, one or two, and you'll have to press the metal really hard. If it's a plate you're going to be using for a long time and you want to use, maybe get 3 or 4 good rolls out of it at least, I would recommend going with the thicker stickers, or even, you know, going to PCP paper or glossy mag paper and using that with a laser printer. And that method I'm not going to actually show you today, but I do teach that method in most all of my online classes. Anyway, this one is just easy, and I'm going to show you how to do it. It's an easy resist. You can use a Sharpie marker, but I don't recommend you do, because the Sharpie marker, unless it's oil-based, will come off in the resist and you won't get a very nice, deep, toothy. One of the nice things about this method with these chemicals is that you can reuse the solution. So if you pour the solution in a glass container with a plastic airtight lid, you can keep it, I don't know exactly how long, and honestly I never reuse mine because this is so inexpensive to do. I usually set, like, you know, maybe once every 2 months I set aside a day and I just etch a bunch of stuff, and then when I'm done I put it all in this container, and I usually either give it to somebody who needs solution or I take it to hazmat. So, but you can revive it by adding a little bit more oxygen or hydrogen peroxide in this case, and, you know, a little bit of salt, and sprinkle more of the muriatic acid will revive the solution. So that's what's really nice about it, is you can keep using it, so you don't have to just throw it away after each use. I'm sorry I don't have more details on how often you can reuse it and how long it lasts, because like I said, I really don't, because it's just so dang inexpensive, and I usually give mine away to students that live in the area that they want to etch after I do, and I just take a bottle over. So that's what I do. But anyway, I'm going to now show you how to do it. So we're going to go outside. I'm going to demonstrate using the following notes. My easy etching method for brass, copper, bronze, or nickel silver is 2 parts of hydrogen peroxide, 3%, to 1 part muriatic acid. Add a pinch of kosher salt and a small piece of copper if you're not etching on copper, meaning if you're etching on brass, bronze, or nickel. And I use a glass or plastic container. Resists for your graphics. You can use Stays-On permanent ink pad and rubber stamps. It's a weaker method, but it does work. The best way is to use stickers, such as etching stickers, or any stickers you can make from brown packing tape by using punches and other cutout designs. Of course, always the best is laser printer with black and white graphics printed on blue PNP thermal transfer paper or glossy printer paper, and then heat transferred onto your metal. A few notes. Nail polish or brown packing tape from the UPS store work very well to protect the back side of your piece. You can use clear packing tape, though, which is less expensive, to suspend your metal in your etching solution. You should always wear gloves when you're touching the muriatic acid pieces. It's best to etch outdoors on a warm day, and do not inhale the fumes. They are toxic. It does help to stir it every 5 or 10 minutes to keep the solution agitated. It does etch in about 25 minutes. After your pieces are etched, rinse them in baking soda water to neutralize, and soak them in acetone for a minute to remove the nail polish and the resist. You can scrub them with a soap and brass brush at the very end. Hi there. Okay, so I'm sitting outside because it's a bright sunny day and it's a perfect day for etching. It's about 70 degrees here, 71 degrees here in sunny California. And the type of etching I'm going to be doing is on brass or copper. So this chemical does not work for silver. It does work for nickel silver though, so you could do nickel silver, brass, copper, or bronze. You could etch with this method. So I'm going to use a glass Pyrex dish here, and in this Pyrex dish I'm going to begin with 2 parts hydrogen peroxide, 3% hydrogen peroxide that you can get from any pharmacy, okay? And to that I'm going to add 1 part of muriatic acid. Now this is pool acid, you know, it's used in pools, and you can get this at Home Depot. You get 2 gallons for like $7.89, so it's very inexpensive. I like this method because it's very fast, And I don't like working with some of the other chemicals and the salt stuff. It's just too much work with the electricity and blah, blah, blah. So this is fast. You're in, you're out. You can get the chemicals and they're not, you know, extremely hazardous. What you should do is put on some rubber gloves before you begin. And you'll want to start by putting your hydrogen peroxide into your Pyrex dish. Now you can use glass or you can use plastic for this, okay? So either one works. I happen to have a glass dish. And I like my my dish to be, I like it to be hot outside because I want the temperature. If it's a little cool or something, you can put a hot plate underneath it and turn it down really, really low. That works really well too. But you want it to be warm outside. And it does create some nasty fumes. I wouldn't want to inhale anything that's got acid in it. And it will also etch everything around it if you leave it in your studio. So you don't want to keep it in there. So I recommend you do this outside or in a garage or something that's very well ventilated where you don't have to sit in there while it's etching. So 2 parts of hydrogen peroxide solution I've already put in here. Now I'm going to put on some rubber gloves and I'm going to add the muriatic acid. Remember, acid is always the last thing you add. So I always say acid to water like you otter, and think of the hydrogen as being your water. Then you're going to add the muriatic acid. Okay? And that's all you need to do. Stir it up a little bit. Use a popsicle stick and just be safe. All right, now I'm going to put in my metal, and I'm using brass because I'm making texture plates for my rolling mill. And something that I like to use are these little stickers. These are Starform stickers, and they come in all different patterns. And I've just taken some of them and stuck them on my brass. But before I use my brass, I clean it with some pumice, or you can use a brass brush and some Blue Dawn and scrub it really, really good. Sometimes I even use a light sandpaper just to get a little tooth on it and clean it really good before I put my stickers on, okay? And on the back for resist, I use nail polish. Now you can use brown packing tape too, if that works. Now I'm going to take some clear cellophane tape, and I'm going to kind of suspend this piece into my dish. So I stick it on the back with the nail polish side against the tape. I'm going to burnish that down with my hand so it's really on there securely. And I'm going to kind of just float it inside. Now I don't want the bottom to touch down on the, so you have to use enough solution where it completely covers, but that your bottom part is not touching. Otherwise you're not going to get a very good edge. So you just kind of want it to be submerged in there. I'm taping it over the side. So you can see I have the tape, I have clear tape holding my pieces down so that they're fully submerged but not touching the bottom. So I've been told that adding copper if you're etching brass is a good thing, because the more copper, the more the muriatic acid and the hydrogen peroxide combined with the copper, those 3 ingredients make something called cupric acid, and that's what actually etches your metal. So and it's supposed to speed it up a little bit. So I'm just going to stir this solution up, and I'm just going to add a little pinch of salt in here, and you'll see the little bubbles start to form up. I heard that also helps. And I've done it without it, but this seems to just speed it up a little bit. It's very important that it's hot outside or that the solution is warm, because it will, otherwise it's going to take a lot longer. But this should only take about 25 minutes. So we're just going to let it set now for about 25 minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to check it. Alright, so it's been about 25 minutes, and I'm just going to check and see how we're doing here. Remember to wear gloves when you're doing this. And you can kind of just feel, if you've got a sticker it's a little bit harder, but if you've got the one with the toner on it, you can just kind of run a toothpick across it, and you can feel, I can feel that that's etched. So it's been 25 minutes. I'm going to take everything out. And I can just peel off one of those stickers, and then I can totally feel that there's a nice edge there. Okay, so I don't know if you could really see that, but anyway. Now I'm going to take off this other one. It just has the, in a minute I'm going to show you the Stays on Ink one that I made with the same design. This one that you're looking at here, though, was made with the laser printer and glossy paper heat transfer method. Okay, so anyway, so I'm going to take these over, and I'm not going to film that part, but I'm just going to soak them in a little bit of cold water with a teaspoon of baking soda and scrub them with a brass brush, and then I'll use acetone or nail polish remover to remove all of this other stuff. And I'll be right back to show you the edge. Here's one I've just taken out of the muriatic acid hydrogen peroxide bath, and I just want you to see that I don't want to touch that with my hands, so I'm going to hold it up here for you. This is one that was just done with these ink. So this Stays on ink, or the color box ink, the permanent ink. And you can see where it has started to eat away some of the resist. This one's been in there about 25 minutes. And I'm just going to use some acetone to wash that off. But just so you can see, that's kind of what it looks like. Okay, so here are a few of my finished pieces. You can see I've got a nice deep edge there. You can really feel it too. It's very toothy. And this one as well. Nice deep edge. So these have been scrubbed with a brass brush, and down here in the sun you can maybe see them a little bit better. And they came out very nice, and I didn't have to use the nasty brown stuff to etch them. I just used simple chemicals you can get pretty much anywhere. A lot of you are very restricted to chemicals you can get based on the country that you're in. Ferric nitrate for silver is hard to find in some countries, but you know, you can do something like this and then transfer the pattern using your rolling mill, and we're going to do that next. Here you can see all three methods of transfer that we've etched today. The one on the far right is the fuzziest, and that's the one that was done with the Stays on ink versus the other two. And now we're going to use the texture plates in our Pepe rolling mill. You know, I had this piece of silver that is about 1.5 mils thick, so it's a little bit too thick for what I want to use it for. So one of the most beautiful things for using your rolling mill for is just simply reducing the size of your, or the thickness of your metal, taking it down a couple of gauges. You can just do several passes until you get your silver to be the thickness that you want. You just tighten the rollers with each pass, and then you keep feeding it through, and then it will get to the desired thickness. You can check it with a caliper. I'm looking for about an 18 gauge here, so I'm going to go a little bit more. I can tell it's still a little bit too thick. And again, I'm really loving the space that I have here with this big rollers. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to anneal this silver, and then I'm going to use it with my beautiful texture plate that we just made with the stickers. Okay, so I have my cardstock, my texture plate that I just made with my stickers, and I have a piece of silver that I've just rolled out. And I'm going to decide what part of the design I want to capture on my plate. So I think I'm going to do something like that. And I'm going to stick it in here. The first thing you want to do is open up your rollers, get your metal in here, and then stick it like all the way in. And then squeeze it as tight as you can. And then I'm going to reset my little dial up here to 0. And I'm going to back it out. And I know where that's called my dead pass, and I know where that dead pass is now. So what I need to do is go back to the 0 and try to stick it in from where I'm at now, and then I want to make it even tighter. So I'm going to get it in there, and I'm going to squeeze it a little bit more, you know, about that much. I do this all by feel. I can't tell you to do a quarter turn, half a turn. It's different every time. You know, I try to do that sometimes, but I really do just do it by feel. The most important thing is that when I try to turn my arm here, And you can start with your arm on top or your arm on the bottom, whatever's easiest for you. I just want to make sure that it's very difficult for me to turn that arm, because the more difficult it is, the deeper my impression's going to be. So I turn this thing as tight as I can get it. And then when it won't go any tighter, I'm good. So I'm going to start to roll this through. And then you will see my gorgeous pattern that has come through onto my silver. Okay, so we did all of this just using stickers. This is 18 gauge silver. So stickers, 18 gauge silver, and the etching method. So anyway, it came out nice and deep. It's a really good, you can hear it. So you can, it's got a lot of tooth there on it. And so the stickers work pretty good. All right, I'm going to show you a couple of other ways to do it. This one I did with the etching pattern. Where is it here? This one I made with when we did the stamping. Okay, so with this one, this kind of a stamp. But I just did the stays on ink. And it's okay, but it's kind of faint. And this one, I'm going to do one for you with a toner plate that was done with a laser printer transfer and glossy paper. And I'll show you that one's a little bit more toothy. We're going to do one here together. All right, so I've got this nice texture plate that I've just made and a nice piece of annealed silver. The silver really does need to be clean, so if you anneal it, throw it in your pickle pot and then just wipe it with some dish soap or something, or rinse it in baking soda to make sure that all of your pickle is off, because you don't want to get that contaminating your beautiful rolling mill wheels. And now I'm just going to feed this through my mill nice and tight so that I've got enough tension there that I'm going to get a really strong impression in my silver when I'm all finished. Okay, so here we are with the beautiful texture. It's very deep and it looks awesome. So it came out really, really nice. And I used a piece of metal that was much smaller. I didn't use the entire thing. So I could either cut it into strips, and continue, or I could probably just even pound this straight with a mallet, and then use it again. I'm sure it would work. So that's one way that you can use, make your own texture plates to use in your mill. You can use stickers, or you can use toner resist. You can use P&P paper. This is one we did with stickers. With silver, you have to use different chemicals, and Sharpie resist does not work. So just keep that in mind, okay? All right. So the other thing that I really love about this mill is it's big enough to accommodate these lovely texture plates from Rio Grande. These are the Bonnie Doon plates. I have about 4 or 5 of them, and I really, really like them. Now, the ones that say extra fine, they'll cost you a little bit more money, but you'll get a much deeper impression, and it's great for smaller pieces like jewelry. These are okay for cuffs, but the impression is very, very wide. And I'll roll one of these through and just show you how that works as well. Okay, so I have my piece of copper, my Bonnie Doon texture plate, my Pepe mill, and my cardstock. And I made sure that my copper is nice and clean. I like to use pumice to clean it up. I anneal it and then I clean it up with some pumice. And we need to go through the same procedure that we went through the last time. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So you want to make sure that you can get your metal in, and then you want to tighten it up, okay? So I'll start over to the side here and make things a little bit easier. Yeah, all right. And I'm going to feed my metal in. I'm opening up my rollers so that I can get my plates all the way in. Now I'm going to tighten my rollers so they're so tight that I can't move them. That's where I want to be. Now I'm going to mark this to 0, just so I know where that point is. I'm going to open up my rollers and back them out. I'll go to that 0, and then I'm going to give it just a little bit more turn. All right, now with this particular plate, you need to press very, very hard, because this pattern is light. Like I said, the extra fine patterns are much deeper, but these the bracelet ones, or the ones that are $49, seem to not make as deep as an impression. So you have to push really, really hard. So I'm going to get it in here and make sure I've got enough torque on there. Just give it a little bit more pressure. All right, and I'm going to try to roll this through. You should. I think they said you should be able to get about 100 rolls with these plates. I'm not sure, but yeah. And there we go. There's our nice texture from our Bonnie Doon plate. I will tell you that this texture, like I said, isn't as deep as the one that I got even with my making my own texture plate. This is much deeper. But I do think that you're going to get a deeper texture if you try using the fine plates, the ones that are smaller. Anyway, just something for you to know. And then you're good to go. And I'm just going to lay these down, and we're going to take a close-up look at what we have here. Okay, so these two came out the strongest. And this was the one that I did with the stickers. And this is the one that I did with the toner transfer on glossy paper with a laser printer. So that would be just like using PCP paper. That one came out really, really strong and has a nice deep, deep mark. This one didn't come out quite as strong, but it's the one that I did with the StazOn ink and the stamp pad. So we just stamped it on, and but it's okay. You just probably wouldn't get as many rolls out of it as we did with these other two methods. And then this is the one that we just made with our Bonnie Doon texture plate. Okay, so there you have it. This is the Pepe Tools Mill. It's the 189-00A, made in the USA. It's 130 millimeters wide, very wide mill. I think this one would be really good for rolling out really big pieces and ingots and all sorts of nice things. So I know Amazon sells these with Prime shipping. You can get free 2-day shipping, I believe, on some of these mills, which is really nice if you're an Amazon Prime member. Otherwise, there's lots of distributors that sell them on their websites. If you just do a Google for Pepe Tools, I'm sure you'll find one. And it's a very nice mill, nice and heavy and sturdy and very well made. When you're not using your mill, it's a good idea to coat the rollers with some 3-in-1 oil. You can use other types of oil, but I like 3-in-1. I believe you can even use motor oil if you like. But I just like to take a little bit, I rub it on my fingers, and I rub it all over my chrome rollers. Give them a little turn just to make sure that I'm getting a nice light coating on there. And then save the bag that comes with your mill if you have it, or you can just get another big plastic bag. And keep these guys covered up because they're steel and you don't want them to get rusted or have anything bad happen to them. So I like to keep mine covered, and that's the way I use my mill, and that's the way I store it when I'm not using it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this little video and it helped you decide maybe on getting a new rolling mill, because this one's a great price. And if you order on Amazon Prime, you get free shipping in 2 days. And that's awesome. So anyway, so I hope that inspired you to do a little bit of etching on some brass and make some plates and etch on your pretty silver and make some pretty things. So thanks for watching. Subscribe me and go to LeslieKailVillarreal.com for lots of online free videos and online classes. Okay.